Good morning. Today I want to talk about uh, a bit of a personal topic, but it's something that is has been on my mind lately, and that is about my experience with casual relationships, casual sexual relationships. Um, in my early sexual experiences around the age of between 18 and 20 or so, I had had very few sexual experiences at all. Although there's a couple here and there that I tried some things with people and tried to connect with people. And when you're a teenager, I feel like um, casual sex has more of an appeal because you want to know what sex is like, what the pleasure is like what can you do with a person, that kind of thing. And I don't really want to get very graphic about it, but just to talk about sex in general terms, um, as I get older, I am starting to not be able to engage in casual relationships anymore because I've started to realize that when I do try to do that, the end of that experience, for example, if it's like a one night stand, the end of that experience always leaves me feeling empty. Um, I'm starting to get to the point where I don't care about the pleasure aspect about it as much as the emotional part of it. Yes, it feels good to do that with somebody, but I need love to be a part of it. Sex without love to me, as I am now, is kind of pointless. If I'm going to come away from those experiences ultimately feeling empty, then I don't think I really want to be a part of that. And it is especially difficult to feel that way in the gay community, especially for gay men, as I feel that the lives of gay men often are sexualized. There are, even in the social spaces, the open public social spaces, there's a extreme amount of sex going on. Like, you go to a gay bar and not all gay bars are like this. There are some gay bars that are just real chill and clean and just, a place to socialize and to hang out with people, whether you're a man or a woman. So sometimes you can have gay clubs that cater to both audiences. But then there are other clubs that have a very obvious and powerful sexual air to them. And sometimes you have the dark rooms, as they're sometimes referred to, where people go in to have casual, anonymous sex. Those places I've never been to. I've only ever heard about them, or I've like noticed them from afar. I never wanted to be in those places, um, because that just always felt like an unsafe environment for me. And this could perhaps be my own insecurity, but oftentimes, I consider myself to be um, I in previous videos I have talked about speaking up for myself, and sometimes I have difficulty speaking up for myself even in sexual scenarios. So, for example, um, I have let people have sex with me without a condom before, even in casual scenarios. And part of that was I noticed the man's demeanor and the fact that he wanted that. And in the back of my mind, I was telling myself, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do this. That was one of my first sexual experiences, in fact, and that scared me because the man seemed, he was very masculine and very forward in the way he spoke. So maybe it was just my own paranoia at the time, but I felt that as if I had asked him to use a condom, or if I told him to put on a condom, that he would force me to do it anyway, that he would rape me. I had really no reason to think that necessarily. I think it was just the nerves and the anxiety of engaging with a person casually. But those are the kinds of fears that I have had around sex. And so right now I'm 36 years old. I am single, and I've been right now trying to put out the idea of a relationship right now. I'm trying to engage with people more platonically these days, because I have noticed that I can sometimes sexualize, even subconsciously, the relationships that I have with other men, whether or not those relationships are platonic or not. It's not with everyone, and there's people that, you know, sometimes you meet somebody for the first time, and maybe you think, oh, that's a very beautiful person. I wonder what it would be like to be with that person. But either their sexuality doesn't match yours, or the circumstances just wouldn't be right, that kind of thing. It's hard for me to sometimes put away some of those sexual feelings. So I have to focus on emotional connections with people rather than physical ones. Because like I said, casual sex just makes me feel empty. I want to be loved. I don't want just the sex. Sex is not just abject pleasure for me. It is a connection with another human being, for two bodies to be combined, intertwined, penetrated by one another. You are spiritually linked with that person. That's how I feel about it. And if you try to do that with someone that you're not totally committed to, it feels like you're giving a part of your soul away. It's like you're just, I'm not sure how to phrase it. This is how it feels for me. I'm not blaming anyone else for enjoying casual sex. That is an individual decision, and everyone has different feelings and experiences about it. But for me, it feels like giving a piece of my soul away to somebody, as if it was just a used tissue. And it makes me sad when that happens, because sometimes I find it extremely easy to have emotions for people when I am connected to them physically. I cannot put away those welling feelings of love in my heart, or infatuation, as it may be from the get-go. Because it's like sacrificing a part of myself for that person. I'm being vulnerable. I'm allowing the person to see a part of my body that hardly anyone gets to see. And I don't just want to give that away without thinking about it. It's important that I consider who I give that part of myself to. If I'm to, go into the dating world again at some point, I need to learn to set clear boundaries about my needs and then try to discuss that with the other person, see if there's some sort of balance that we can make. I don't expect all of my needs to be met necessarily, or all of my desires to be met, because I've found out that that's just not possible to do all the time. I've had in the past couple of years a couple of short relationships with people and one long-term one. And as far as the long-term one is concerned, I felt like my sexual experience with that was very fulfilling. But with some of the others, it has been hard to connect with those people. Because I didn't go into that relationship, whether it was, a serious one or friends with benefits. Those are the kinds of relationships that I have been involved in before. Those types of relationships I don't think I was ready for, because I tried to go into them expecting too much of those people, expecting too much of a sexualized relationship with that person from the start. Because those are some of the things that I wanted. I wanted to be able to connect with those people, but I wasn't able to connect with those people because we didn't have the important conversations that would lead us to have a fulfilling sex life. So either I didn't say what I needed, or I didn't say what I didn't like about the sexual relationship. And that just led me into this spiral of resentment, thinking, oh, he doesn't care about me. He doesn't love me. I'm just a tool for pleasure for him. Those are some of the thoughts that went through my mind, because the whole process of it did not have the level of emotion and expression of love that I wanted. So the types of expressions that I enjoy in a sexual relationship involve kissing, cuddling, embracing each other with full nudity, being totally vulnerable, not rushing back into your normal life after sex. Just being present with each other. I didn't just want this quick in and out and then back to whatever again. Because every time that happened, it made me feel lonelier than if I had not done it at all. And part of that is my fault not communicating my needs, but the other part of it is the other person not understanding that he wasn't doing everything that would make me feel fulfilled. So there was a misunderstanding, I would say, about the expectations of the sexual relationship, because not everybody is as touchy-feely as me. But I require that. It is a requirement for me, at least in some degree. I don't have to be latched onto that person all the time, but it is extremely important for me to have physical contact often. Okay. Well, that's all I want to say on the topic. Thank you for listening. I hope this resonated with you. Find love and light in your life. Thank you.